I can't go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask, don't play pretend.
We often do not reflect on our actions and the consequences they may have for us in the future. It seems to us that we alone control and manage our lives. But it is not entirely true. Every person in their life goes through certain lessons and thus either evolves or not. Svilana, at the age of 20, fell in love with a married man. A passionate romance occurred at work. Samantha was doing an internship at the enterprise where she met Jackson. The man was 15 years older than her, married, and had children. Samantha had no prejudices in her mind about not entering into a relationship with a married man. She considered mutual love as the basis for relationships. Jackson courted her beautifully. He spoke of how his feelings for his wife had long passed, and he maintained the relationship only for the sake of the children. A typical justification of a philandering married man who simply couldn't bring himself to divorce. They met clandestinely and secretly after work, in a hotel room. Samantha was in love, and such secret affairs seemed rich and exciting to her. She didn't think about the feelings of his wife at the moment when she was intimate with Jackson. The romance lasted only 8 months. Everything secret, sooner or later, becomes evident. One day, Jackson's wife came to his workplace and caused a scandal with Samantha. One of her friends saw her husband with his lover together and knew where the adulteress worked. The wife cried, screamed that Samantha had ruined her life, taken the father away from the children, and spoke of how she would age with time and his feelings for her would fade. She wished to receive karma in return. Jackson didn't even try to defend Samantha in front of his wife. He only hurried to take her home. Samantha felt very embarrassed. She felt as if all her colleagues were pointing fingers at her and gossiping about her. She had to quit her job and break up with Jackson. He decided to stay in the family because he loves his children. Samantha didn't mourn this situation for long. A year later, she met her future husband, Louis. They got married. Louis was someone she could always rely on. After the wedding, they lived modestly, both working but earning small salaries. In general, they started their family life from scratch. At first, they lived in a rented apartment, then bought their own. 3 children were born into the family. Money was tight. Louis and his friend started their own business. Gradually, it began to bring in good income. Samantha trusted her husband as much as herself. In 12 years of marriage, she never doubted him. Life became easier. There was enough money for basic needs and more. With the arrival of more money into Louis's life, he began to change for the worse. He gradually distanced himself from his wife and children, attributing his behavior to being busy at work. When he was at home, he paid no attention to Samantha at all. He was only interested in the children. At that time, the youngest child in the family was 3 years old, and Samantha wasn't working. She realized that the marriage was falling apart. She suggested to her husband to go on a 2-week vacation together. He agreed. Samantha's mother stayed with the children. They flew to Turkey. Samantha was looking forward to romantic evenings and bright emotions. However, even on vacation, her husband was distant. He read something on his phone at every opportunity. One evening, when her husband fell asleep, Samantha heard the sound of an incoming message. She read the text on the screen. A woman named Sue wrote, "My love, I'm pregnant. What should I do? By the way, have you already told your wife about us?" At that moment, Samantha's world collapsed. Her thoughts were foggy. Tears streamed down her face. She left the conversation with her husband until morning. She didn't sleep all night. Her eyes were red from crying by morning. She gathered her strength and started the conversation. "I know about your mistress. Why did you treat me like this? Don't you love me anymore?" "No, I don't love you. You've become boring to me, no longer interesting. I've been seeing Sue for a year now and want to marry her. I won't abandon my children. I'll take care of them." You humiliated and trampled on me and my feelings. I lived with you when I was in need and supported you in everything. I never reproached you. Money has corrupted you. Money gave me freedom and the opportunity to live as I want. Let's go back from vacation and I'll move in with Sue. I'm glad she's having my child. Tomorrow is the last day of vacation. I'll finally get rid of you. If you find me so repulsive, why did you agree? Why did you get close to me? I don't understand anything. I compared you to her. I realized that I don't feel anything for you at all. As a woman, you evoke no emotions in me. I'll go for a walk, get some fresh air. I can't stand the sight of women's tears. The husband left. Alone in the room, Samantha cried all day. In the evening, she didn't notice how she fell asleep with a troubled sleep. Memories associated with Jackson and his wife came to her in a dream. In this dream, Jackson's wife smiled maliciously, saying, "Now you're in my place. Receive the boomerang." She laughed, turning into a scary old woman. Samantha woke up with a start, sweat on her forehead. Exactly. This is the boomerang for my past, she thought. She silently packed her things. Her husband had already packed his suitcase and was waiting for her to wake up. They had enough time before the flight. They didn't speak. Upon landing, her husband went to his mistress. The wife went to the children completely shattered by betrayal. It turns out, it hurts a lot when you're betrayed, when you're discarded. It hurts so much that the pain is felt throughout the body, as if being cut into small pieces without anesthesia. Samantha thought she would never be betrayed, and nothing like that would ever happen to her. Other women might be cheated on and betrayed, but not Samantha, because she's special, and her husband is special, faithful. Samantha was in pain, realizing that she's just an ordinary woman, like many others. Her husband turned out to be ordinary, needing novelty and intense feelings. Samantha didn't know how to go on living. She remained alone with 3 children. Her husband dutifully sent money for the children, sometimes taking them for weekends. On his Facebook page, the husband regularly shared joyful photos with his Sue, captioning them, "My beloved." Samantha felt pain as she gazed upon their happy faces. Samantha sought solace in church and religion. Every Sunday, she faithfully attended service. She even decided to confess. The priest said to her these words, "Do not wish ill upon your husband and his mistress. It is better to pray for them. By wishing harm upon others, you only complicate your own life. Pray for the woman whom you have wronged by betraying her husband. Treat others as you wish to be treated. Do not perceive the current situation as heavenly punishment. It is a lesson for you to acknowledge your mistakes and learn from them. Accept this lesson with gratitude. Your life will not end here." Samantha changed her attitude towards the situation. The hardest part for her was to forgive her husband, to harbor no resentment towards him, and to accept the situation. She learned to live on her own and got a job. For some time, the husband hesitated and even wanted to return to the family. Samantha did not accept him back. She sent him to live with his Sue,